Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Garage here on YouTube. Today I'm going to be starting the modifications on my new generation Ford Ranger Raptor, and the first thing is making it a bit more of an expedition, a bit more of an adventure truck, and with that we're going to be fitting a front runner load bay rack that I bought from 4x4 Works here in the UK. Let me show you around what's just been delivered. So I've loaded everything into the back of my Ranger Raptor. I've got here the front runner rack, so that is my Slimline 2 rack in here, which I've got to put together, and then in this box there's a few other accessories. So one of them being the little runner rails, and this was important to me because I wanted these to be able to fit into my Ranger Raptor, into these rails here, and this is completely factory. This is the Raptor pack from Ford, and for me it was important that I have a rack that fitted over the top of my electric roll cover, and so 4x4 Works here in the UK were really helpful in pointing me in the right direction for the front runner gear that I needed, and that's what I've got in here. I've also got some bike mounts, the Pro Fork mounts, I'll be fitting to my rack as well. But I think let's get started and see how this is going to be to put together. I will say about the front runner gear generally, and this is not a sponsored video by Front Runner at all, I've bought all this gear myself, is how good everything is packaged. Everything's really packaged, and there's some really nice little things, like in here for example, a sticker set. And yeah, although this rack's over £1,000, the sticker set still does it for me, so that's included there as well. And just generally I think the way it's packaged and the quality of the gear already from what I've seen is really nice. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what this is like as it's fitted. I have heard very good things about Front Runner, and it's the rack that I went for in the end over the other options, and I'll talk a bit more about the reasons for why I went for Front Runner through this video. So this is all the bits out now. I've got the wind deflector here. These are the central bars, I think, for the rack, and these are the end points here with the Front Runner logo on. What I like about Slimline 2 is you've got all these accessory points. There are literally hundreds of accessories you can use with this rack, which is what I'm very excited about. Just getting through the bits here, having a look at what we've got. So these are the corners in here, and I've got the instructions in there. So I'm going to start and let's see what the first step is to putting this rack together. It is all coming along very nicely. I've putting the slats in now. I've got the end point on there, and there's just these 5mm Allen heads that go in here, and you can put the slats on. So I'm putting the slats on with one gap missing on each one to create the kind of rack design. You can put them in each one as well to create more of a kind of a flatbed thing. This particular kit that I've got is just a standard Slimline 2 rack, but you can get it so you can buy more slats to fill them in, which is quite nice. Seems really easy so far. I hope I'm getting it right, but the instructions are pretty basic, and they're good enough for what you need. So essentially it's kind of like a modular rack, so you can build it for what you need it to be built for. This particular rack, like I say, is for the load bed, and I've got the little legs here as well, which I'll be putting on soon. But so far so good, getting these slats sorted out and putting on. And then the great thing with the front runner gear is you've got all these accessory points on it, so you can have so many different clip-ons for the Slimline 2 rack. And when I was looking, there was nothing really that compared to what the Slimline 2 had options wise for the future, you know, for cargo space, storage, bikes, canoes, surfboards, everything really that I want to be able to have in a truck. And you can even put a roof tent on this as well, which is pretty cool across the back here. So loads of ideas for that, and I'm very excited to see what this looks like once we get it on. So let's carry on building. So I've just put together the rack now, put it together very loosely. Haven't got the corners on yet, but that is that all done. It was much easier to do it on the floor on some cardboard than on the vehicle itself. So once I've done that, the next thing I believe is to do or tighten bolts, and then it's the corners, which I've got just here, and then after that it's the wind deflector, which to be honest I don't think I really need, considering it's going to be sitting just there behind the cab. So probably don't need the wind deflector on this one unless it goes on the roof at some point. And then after that, I think this is pretty much the end of this instruction book. I've then got to go on to finding the legs in that box just there, and then seeing how the legs go onto this and seeing how high they lift up. But that's the rack kind of looking together. Feels very solid at the moment, so pretty pleased with that. And then here, as mentioned, you've got these are for, that's the rear tyre. Very nicely made bit of kit there. And then underneath here you've got then the new axle that goes through the front of your bike tyre when you take your front tyre off. So these are the front tyre off variants, mainly because the truck's a little bit long. I didn't want, it's not long enough, sorry, so I want something that the bikes go on, and I've got a quick release for my tyres anyway on my mountain bikes, so really it's going to work very well to do that. So let's get these legs out now and work out how to fix these. So it should be pretty simple. That's essentially what they need to look like. Another thing I'm going to do is they put these little packages in saying who's packaged your gear. Just nice little touches, I think. Really impressed with how Front Runner package their stuff up and how well protected it is when it arrives. It's all absolutely perfect when when you get it because of how it's been packaged, which I'm a big fan of. Particularly when you're buying a premium product like this, which these racks are certainly not cheap, so you want to make sure that when they arrive to you they're in good condition, of which these are. So really pleased with how that's all been put together. Definitely recommend Frontrunner. Just looking at this, the way stuff's put together and the quality of it so far. I now have the little feet here in the track there. I've just loosely done those ones and those ones as well, so that's that step done, and then they'll be adjusted depending on where the rack's going to be. That is the plan. So set a distance of these at where I think they need to be, just tighten them up with a 10mm socket. So we're going to go there and about there, just get the equal load over the load bay. Took a lot longer than I'd hoped, but I have all the mounting points in place now. You can see across there. Now it's time to put the little legs on, and then we've got to get them rack mounted on top. The legs are on now, so they go on there very neatly. Got little caps on there too. So those two are on this side. Now I've got to the other side. So the rack is now fitted. It's the next day, and I spent quite a lot of time yesterday evening getting this fitted, but I'm really pleased with how it came out. I think it looks really good on the back of my Raptor. So it's really solid overall. Honestly, if I shake this, whole truck shakes, really solid. With just these little leg mounts, this holds, I think, 600 pounds. So really good capacity as well for weight. And when I walk around the truck, actually, you don't see it much, to be honest, from the behind, but it just extends that load capacity of my Ranger Raptor so much, having that on there. I'm really excited to start putting bits onto there and use it for accessories this summer. Haven't put the mountain bike mount on yet, but that is the next plan. But overall, really pleased with it. And what I like about this is you've got enough room that if you open the back, you can see there's a lot of rubbish in here, and actually open this, you've still got loads of cargo space in here. You can get this rack, the Slimline 2, on very small little feet, so it sits just close to the load bay roller. But I think for me, having it on these legs just gives you extra space to be able to put decent enough stuff. I'd probably say there's about 2.5, 3 foot space here to put stuff in, which is really useful, and it allows you to be able to have it up and then have it open as well. And the great thing with the Frontrunner gear as well is, as mentioned, you've got the rails here, so you can put bolts in and slide them along to create fixing points on anywhere you want on the rail. Is that also exists underneath. So on the underside as well, you can have like mounting points, whatever you want under here, and actually secure stuff under here, including a steel table, like a camp table that Frontrunner do that I've seen on their website, which has got like a rail you can slide your table into, which is very cool. As mentioned, this is not a sponsored video. I just love this gear. I think it's so well put together. I'm really impressed with the quality of it. I'm hoping the coating lasts on it. For those that follow the channel will know, I've done quite a lot of work with old Land Rover Defenders, and the stuff from ORE has a really good black coating on it that never comes off, and I'm hoping this coating is similar on the Frontrunner stuff, so we'll have to see how we get on. Now, if you're looking at fitting this rack on your pickup truck, couple of words of warning. Putting the screws into these rails, don't put them in from this side. They come in a pack of 4 and you split them up, and actually they go in at the back just here, so they easily slide in there. I took the back off mine here. I didn't need to do that in the end. Secondly, you probably saw earlier on in this video, I was mounting these legs and fixing them down and putting the legs on and all that. The reality is, when you then put the rack on, you realise that they're in the wrong place, because they have to be where there is one of these mounting rails. So underneath on that side there, because they've got two bolts that go into the middle. So I had to, fortunately, well, this one was in the right place. I wanted it here. On the rear one, I wanted it on this particular strut, and I had to take all this apart and remove it and then slide it along. So that's a word of warning for you if you're doing this yourself, is make sure you get the rack on, put these loosely into the tracks, work out where they're going to be, and then go from there. So that is me fitting my new Frontrunner rack onto my Ford Ranger Raptor. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope it's been interesting for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.